Meeting of September 20th. If you'd please join us in the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, if you'd please call the roll.
Regular Village Board meeting, September 20th, 2016. Roll call. Trustee Maher.
Here.
Trustee Grady.
Here.
Trustee Benito.
Here.
Trustee Vanager.
Present.
Trustee Yunker.
Here.
Trustee Sept.
Here.
Mayor Seaman.
Here. We have a quorum. Item number 1, approval of the agenda. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And
Before we make that motion, I spoke to Lord at the clerk's office. I have amendments to the minutes that she's going to make.
we're on the agenda right now. You're a little ahead. A little ahead. We have a motion. Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, consider approval of the minutes as written or amended. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, now we can have discussion.
I spoke to someone from the clerk's office about amending the wording on the last paragraph of the ordinance change. Basically, it looks like I voted to recommend it for approval, which isn't the case. They're gonna correct that.
All right, so we're going to be voting on the minutes as amended.
Yes.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 3, approval of the consent agenda. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And it's been moved and seconded. Mr. Clerk.
Item 3, consent agenda A. Consider request for block party permit that was held on Saturday, September 10th, 2016. 8106. Killarney Drive, and a cul-de-sac from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. And B, payment of outstanding bills in the amount of $3,238,028.39 as listed on the vendor board approval reports dated September 9th and September 16th, 2016.
Anybody on the board have any questions? If not, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Roll call on consent agenda. Trustee Maher.
Yay.
Trustee Grady.
Yay.
Trustee Benito.
Yes.
Trustee Vanager.
Yes.
Trustee Yunker.
Yay.
Trustee Sept.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 4, swearing-in ceremony for Police Officer Kyle Robinson. Mr. Clerk?
Kyle, if you want to come up. Repeat after me. I, Kyle Robertson,
I, Kyle Robinson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the ordinances of the Village of Tinley Park,
the ordinances of the Village of Tinley Park,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of police officer
of police officer
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God. Here's your powers.
We also have the law enforcement oath of honor, so if you'd repeat after me. On my honor, I will never betray my badge,
On my honor, I will never betray my badge,
my integrity, my character,
my integrity, my character,
or the public trust.
with public trust.
I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable
I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable
for our actions.
for our actions.
I will always uphold the Constitution,
I will always uphold the Constitution,
my community, and the agency I serve.
my community, and the agency I serve.
Congratulations.
Present because we're all proud of him.
This is my dad, Robinson.
retired sergeant in Homewood. This is my mother, who I definitely couldn't be here without.
Smart kid.
This is my brother, who's taken me under his wing since even before I joined Tinley Park. And this is his beautiful wife. I'm proud to have as my sister. And it's their son over there on the left. This is my sister, Becky Gensel, back there, who finally grown extremely close as she's gotten older. So, but these is for all my family and friends. Definitely consider everyone that I have family. Some of my old coworkers here too. I came, for those of you who don't know, I came from East Hazel Crest. My former chief is here, who got me started. All my life growing up, I've been surrounded by amazing people, all the way back to guys like TJ here that I've grown up with and worked with, who have sent me on the right path to get here. So I'm very excited to be here and very happy to serve this community. So thank you guys all for coming.
Welcome aboard. We'll let you escape here. Okay, item number 5, consider appointments for the following commission vacancies on the Sister Cities Commission, Joanne Eichhausen and Jim Mueller. May I have a concurring motion, please?
So moved.
A second? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. This is, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 6, appointing Stephen Klotz as interim fire chief effective October 1st, 2016. May I have a concurring motion, please?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Discussion here is that Deputy Chief Klotz had been, has served as a deputy for quite some time in the fire suppression area. Our previous interim chief, Dan Reardon, has done a great job in that role, and so we're going to give Steve the chance to do the same thing. So with that, I'd ask all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Congratulations, Chief. Item number 7, Trustee Grady.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd ask the board to consider resolution number 2016 R025, recognizing Fire Prevention Week in the Village of Tinley Park from October 9th through October 15th, 2016.
And this is for waiver of first reading. May we have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you. Fire Prevention Week is celebrated in the Village of Tinley Park beginning October 9th, 2016. All citizens are encouraged to do their share to provide a safe place in which to live and work by eliminating those fire hazards which cause the loss of life, property, and resources. Fire Prevention Week is always scheduled to coincide with the anniversary of the Great Chicago Fire of 1871.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
I'm going to ask Chief Reardon if he'd say a few words in regards to how we celebrate around here.
Here in Tinley Park, we spend hundreds of hours in our schools educating children on the dangers of fire. Did you know that adults are responsible for 78% of the preventable fires, such as cooking, improperly used heating and electrical equipment, and the use of smoky materials? It's our job in fire prevention to ask that we adults be more fire safe and continue to lead by example for our children. Statistics tell us that we're 4 times more likely to perish or not survive in a fire if we don't have a working smoke alarm. Smoke alarm manufacturers state that they're only effective for about 10 years. Over 90% of our housing stock in Tinley Park is greater than 10 years old. Please go home and check your smoke alarm. Check it monthly, and if it needs to be replaced, do it right away. In celebration of Fire Prevention Week, our open house is on October 8th, which is Saturday, at Fire Station 1, 17355 68th Court, from 9 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon. About a week ago, I read about a tragic fire that occurred in South Memphis, Tennessee, where 3 adults and 6 children died. It reminded me of another fire that occurred on December 20th, 1974. A mother and her 6 children perished in a house fire in Tinley Park. I thought about those 2 tragedies and how it affected our community. The impact goes beyond the immediate family. It affects friends and families, schoolmates, teachers, and first responders who answered the call. So again, I implore you, act responsibly and check your smoke detectors and make sure they work. In closing, the fire is everyone's fight, so I request all of you to take this fight to your home front and win it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
I'd just like to add, if you've ever had a chance to go to the open house, or if you have young children or grandchildren, take them out there. They can learn an awful lot, a lot of fun things to do, and they got some pretty cool giveaways. The fire department has unlimited budget when it comes to give away cool things for the kids. October 8th.
Thank you, TJ. All in favor signify by saying, oh, is a roll call? All right, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Item 7, roll call on resolution 025. Trustee Maher.
Yay.
Trustee Grady.
Yay.
Trustee Benito.
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Youngster.
Yay.
Trustee Suggs.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 8, Trustee Vandenberg.
Good evening, thank you. At this time, I move to adopt ordinance number 2016-0-056, granting a variation for offense for certain property located at 6401 Terrace Drive.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
This has been discussed, and this is up for adoption this evening. The zoning board has recommended this for consideration after findings of fact, and their public hearing was held on August 25th, 2016. This is to install a new 4-foot tall chain link fence in alignment with an existing home.
Any other questions from the board? This item is on for adoption. Anybody from the public have any comment or question? Let the record reflect there were none. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Item 8 on final ordinance 056, roll call. Trustee Maher.
Yay.
Trustee Grady.
Yay.
Trustee Benito.
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Youngster.
Yay.
Trustee Suggs.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 9, Trustee Grady.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd ask the board to consider adopting ordinance number 2016-0-054, amending Title III of the Tinley Park Village Code by creating a new Chapter 43 entitled Eligibility Procedure under the Public Safety Employee Benefits Act.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you. Under state law, public safety employees can be eligible for health insurance benefits under the Public Safety Employee Benefits Act. It is recommended that the village establish a policy to determine the eligibility of an employee for these benefits. The purpose of this ordinance is to provide a fair and efficient method of determining the eligibility of an employee for the benefits enumerated under the PSEBA. All benefits provided public safety employees shall be consistent with PSEBA. The village has identified its Blue Advantage HMO plan as its basic group health plan.
Anybody from the board have any questions about this? This item is up for adoption. Anybody from the public care to comment? Let the record reflect there were none. Mr. Clerk.
Item 9 on final for ordinance 054. Trustee Maher.
Yay.
Trustee Grady.
Yay.
Trustee Benito.
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Youngster.
Yay.
Trustee Suggs.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 10, comments from the board and staff. Anybody on the board have any comment?
I'd take a minute of our time, if you
Please.
don't mind. Yesterday, I was able to participate in a golf outing experience in Tinley Park. And at this time, I'd just like to unofficially recognize the men and women who put this on. This is the Tinley Park Patrolman Foundation. If you're not aware of what their cause is, they participate in the Special Olympics in Tinley Park and throughout the state. They've been recognized globally as one of the highest ranking benefactors and donators to the Special Olympics, as well as they take care of their own and the police force. Yesterday, they actually donated to several families who have lost loved ones in the line of duty, as well as those that are living from tragic accidents on duty. So they did a great job. I told them I wouldn't use their names. They don't like to take this as they gloat around or nothing like that. They just they like to do what they're doing, and they're doing a fabulous job, and I don't want it to go unrecognized. So guys, keep up the good work. It's always a pleasure to be a service and to help you guys out. So thank you very much.
Very good. Anybody else on the board have any questions or comments? Staff, anybody on staff? Anybody from the public here to comment? Mr. Paws.
Thank you, Mayor. And is it working? Okay. First of all, I wanted to say it's an honor to be the first person to be streamed live from public comment, and I wanted to thank the village for live streaming the meetings now, because more people can watch what goes on, and that's always a good thing. Transparency is a good thing. And just this public service announcement, 4/4/2016, there's an 17, there's an election, so make sure you're registered to vote. Okay, quick things, staying on the transparency thing, don't mean to pick you on you, Clerk Ray, but can we have the minutes for the finance meeting put up for the April 16th meeting? That one isn't up yet, and I was wondering if it was available, if we can put it up. There were some minutes I wanted to review in regards to the Sportsplex RFQ discussion.
Sure.
And then, is it further in the realm of possibility that, I don't even know where you would put this kind of thing. Is there an RFQ section in the website, or, I would actually like to review the Sportsplex RFQ. I'm just kind of throwing that out there because it would be nice if there was like a central spot to go for them.
Let me ask, because that's a different publication.
Yeah, we'll put it on. We can put that on.
Yeah.
It's probably on, it's probably on there.
Yeah,
You think it is? Okay.
I would, most, did you say contract opportunities there?
Contract, oh, okay, see,
They're usually
that.
on there.
And this is,
These are published, where at? It's in the.
Well, that's yours.
I probably will.
Where it's at?
Yeah.
It's in the business section on
Okay.
the website,
It's there.
and then contract opportunities.
Okay, cool. See, and thank you. So, I mean, I figured it might be somewhere. I just wouldn't really know where to look. So I appreciate you guys all chat. Thank you, everyone. Real quick, kind of again going further on the transparency. So we were talking at the finance meeting about the telephone meeting, and I just want to say I'm 100% for it. I'm 1,000%, in fact. I'm 200%, 1,000%, and I want everyone included. First of all, I want the counselor there because clearly there's going to be legal questions that may be deferred to, and I think your expertise is always good. So I think if money has to be budgeted out for Counselor Connolly to be there, he should be there because he has some really good insight on legal questions that may pertain to the village, or it just may come up as a thing that, someone might have a question directly for him because he's very knowledgeable. So I would say at minimum include him. And then basically, okay, getting back to the Sportsplex RFQ, is that going to be further discussed in finance, or is that the next step for that? It comes here. How's that work,
It
Mr.
would
Sternmeyer?
go to the, actually the finance and planning committee.
Again,
So, yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we don't,
It's just not going to go straight here.
no.
Okay.
Yeah, we go to committee first, so.
All right, so there's still discussion.
Yeah, they're still narrowing it down and pretty soon, but I don't have an exact date yet.
Now, do the committees have a thing of discussing it, or do you pick and then do you just say when are we going to put it up, or do they discuss your pick?
The committees will discuss it. There's trustees that have been involved with the process, so yeah, I mean, the committees will
Okay.
make a recommendation, but ultimately the board obviously would make the final decision.
Well, right. I didn't know how much discussion preceded that, because I know from the last meeting there's discussions on these things, and that's when you really got to dig in on this stuff. Not by the time it gets here, it's kind of like, it's limited amount of time that we can talk. So I just want to bring that up. One last thing, I'm kind of nitpicking. I know I'm up against my 4 minutes, but if I donate a podium, can I leave it right here? Because it'd be nice to lay my stuff down. And I know that a couple people have their notes and they'd like to leave their stuff down. I would donate it though. Citizens Podium.
Thank you. Anybody else care to comment? Yes, Mr. Everhart.
You know, by now, a number of people have reviewed the chief's memo regarding Neighborhood Watch. His bottom line conclusion was that a neighborhood watch with block captains is too manpower intensive, quote unquote. He noted that when it originally began, Neighborhood Watch was the full-time responsibility of a civilian employee. He didn't mention when that employee left the police department, she was in fact replaced with another full-time employee. I believe it's a very important point that's not mentioned in the memo, was not addressed in any discussion, is the fact that the police department has a crime prevention committee. If you recall, the last public mention of the committee was at a board meeting a few months ago, when I reminded that the clerk advised that the committee had not had a meeting in over 2.5 years. In the last months, I haven't seen any public notice about meetings for a crime prevention committee. Now, I don't mean the next following comments is an indictment of everyone serving on a committee or commission, but it's clear that one of the major purposes of your commission system, Mr. Mayor learned from your predecessor and continued by you, is that it's a huge political army. Due to time constraints in the 4 minutes, I can't go through the stacks and stacks of documents and emails that I have. But as an example, your email exchange with the former mayor, talking about fundraising. I'll keep you posted on the fundraising progress. Only had 700 invites printed. Sent out 500, you name the people who you sent them out to send to friends and acquaintances that could be brought in. All commission members were included as well. All commission members are included as well. Specifically with the Crime Prevention Commission, let me remind you of an email you received, as well as all the elected officials, from Trustee Maher in May of 2013. I really need some new members for the Crime Prevention Committee. We only have 5 members and not going to reappoint one of them. If we have any supporters who are interested, I can really use some for this committee. Looking for supporters. In response, or not necessarily in response to his email, Trustee Maher did receive an email from an individual who was ultimately appointed to the committee. Brian, I was told by son of a former trustee to submit a resume to you for consideration to a committee post. I had a nice conversation, well, then he goes through a lot of information about background. I had a nice conversation with you on election night at Bailey's, and we have a mutual friend who he notes. It was my pleasure to campaign for you and Team Tinley, and I look forward to seeing you tonight at Odyssey Country Club for your inauguration. So he made the cut. He got appointed. You know, it's time to take the politics out of your commission and your committee system. In 2012, volunteers wanted to recreate the Neighborhood Watch. In 2016, volunteers want to recreate the Neighborhood Watch. If the committee, who hasn't met for close to 3 years, can't or won't do it, you need to change membership. It's time to appoint volunteers, many of them sitting right out here, whose primary concerns are the interests of the village of Tinley Park, not your political team.
Thank you. Anybody else have any comment? Mr. Doyle?
I was just curious if there was any plans yet to move along with whatever needs to be done for safeguarding the fountain area and removing the barricades. I'd like to just encourage a sense of urgency in getting those barricades down. They're quite the eyesore, so whatever we need to do to help the Public Works to make things safe in there while whatever is being decided, whatever the next steps are, it'd be nice to get those barricades down. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Mr. Stuckley?
This goes with the chief. Is there any more, maybe like 2 meetings ago, I believe I asked you about the Bear Brothers traffic study. Is there any more information on that?
I'm sorry. Yeah, we talked about that at a committee meeting.
Is there any updates?
There was no
The study didn't show that there was any traffic control devices that need to be put at that intersection where the crash was at on 76th Court, I believe it was. That's what started that discussion. And then they reviewed some of the studies that were done in the past few years in that neighborhood.
Okay,
But there was nothing that indicated any new traffic signage.
okay, thanks. This is concerning the convention center.
Mhm.
We have do we pay the management company $650,000 a year?
There's a management fee
Fee.
for operating the center. That's
Okay,
correct.
that's a no-bid contract? Or,
It's really tied to the ownership of the hotel. That's the way it's been structured originally.
okay. Now, in 2017, we're gonna pay him a $3.7 million bonus?
No,
No?
they haven't lived up or qualified for that, so there will be no such payment made.
Okay, if they were to get a bonus, what do they need to do?
Build a 62-room addition to the hotel.
Okay. All right, simple. Okay.
That was it.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Yes, Lucas, please.
Hello, I'm just giving a shout out. The Tinley Park Youth and Golf Program will be coming up closely. The program that I was a part of, and it was a program that the Village of Tinley Park also participates in. And I just want to give a congratulatory shout out to the Mayor Tom Rooney of Rolling Meadows. He's a huge advocate of the program, and now being him being a former history teacher, and he was a director of the program. And he was just recruited and appointed to former State Senator Murphy's Senate seat. And if his name sounds familiar to some of the old board, it's because he came and addressed the term limits committee about 3 years back or so. He reached out to the consultant, or the consultant reached out to him. I'm not sure which one it was. But he drove the 2 hours to come to Tinley Park and address the committee as to why term limits is needed, because his own town had the same exact issue, and they input term limits, and he just remarked on how it made him a better alderman and then in the future a better mayor. And then I just hope that he takes his integrity to Springfield, and that because of term limits here in Tinley Park, our own integrity will also increase. Thanks.
Thank you, Lucas. Any other comments? Please step up.
I just want to thank Tinley Park Police for patrolling the school areas from where I live on Olcott, or off of Olcott. Saw a police officer the past few days pulling people over. It's a parallel route to Harlem Avenue. People go 30, 40, 50 miles an hour sometimes. It's pretty insane. I walk my children to school when it's nice out. It's good to see you guys are doing some great work there. I saw a few people get pulled over. Unfortunate for them, but pay attention to your speed. Really appreciate it, Chief. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Good evening.
I have a question about the statue in the inner lobby, the statue refugee.
Statue?
The statue as you walk in.
The bench?
Vestibule.
The bench?
Well, there's a statue on the bench.
Okay.
I talked to Steph, I was just curious, I'm not sure how long it's been here or anything, of how it came to be.
I believe it was.
Was that donated?
Yes, I believe it was donated, but the clerk can fill in the loose
I'm
ends.
just curious by whom.
Sure. What we're talking about is the bench out there, and sitting on it is, I'm not gonna say a likeness of former Mayor DeBruck.
Yeah, it's
If
not.
it is, it's about
It's not.
50
It's
pounds.
too fabulous.
Less, but, and not that I would. At any rate, if you don't know it, when you leave, you'll see it. That was from over a decade ago. And that was one of the benches that was made as part of the Village of Tinley Park's bench project, which is, as you know, quite successful. It had a different person on it than it had the owner of Norman's Cleaners, and it used to sit prominently in front of an automobile dealership. A businessman at that point paid to have a change, and in
Hey, not to interrupt, Pat, but I got
Sure.
4 minutes. And I kinda wanna sort of a little bit cut to the chase. Then maybe
Well,
you
no,
can
no, no,
follow
I don't have the 4-minute
afterwards.
limit. But go ahead.
But I'm just wondering though, it was donated, it was donated by
It was
whom?
donated.
By whom?
At the time, the businessman asked it be anonymously donated, and I called him today.
Well, I'm talking about the actual statue, not the bench itself. Because I inquired with the village and nobody knows anything about it.
It was part of the same process, it was donated.
But I mean, that's actually like a commissioned piece. I mean, that's a statue of Ed Zabraki.
Do you know how we go about these benches?
Not the bench, I'm talking about the actual statue. I'm just wondering who donated,
You're talking
somebody
about the person
commissioned the
sitting on the
piece, correct? I mean, that's the
100%.
likeness of Mayor Zabraki, even though it's, you know.
100%, well, okay.
But I mean,
I'm
who,
with you.
who actually donated that? Because,
talked to
I
him
mean,
again.
that's like a gift
It's a gift.
to the mayor, whereas, let's say
No.
you go in the library, and that's like a sculpture, a generic sculpture, and it says donated by Friends of the Library, I mean, whatever, but that actually, I would consider that a gift to the mayor. I mean, that is something that immortalizes the mayor, and it's been there for, like you said, a decade
A
or something.
decade. And let me say
So I
this.
mean, who sponsored that? Who
I
paid
hear
for
you.
the actual statue on there, not the
Same
bench?
businessman.
Well, I mean, is he like unnamed, or I mean, who would
He
that
asked
be?
at the time, he asked at the time, and we honored that he not be, that it was an anonymous gift to the village. And by the way, before it's
Would
said
that be a
in there,
contractor for the
it's set
village,
on Oak
or
Park Avenue.
would that be a contractor for the village, somebody that has village business, or
No.
what would be the inclination of him to donate, you know, have a commissioned piece? Do you know who the artist was that actually made the?
No, and no, by the way, that's
Because
probably.
he should get some credit, I mean, somebody actually, probably there was a sitting with the mayor and, you know,
Oh.
photographs, something to
You
get
can
kind of.
carry on as you choose, that
Get-
is not close to a likeness, but.
Well, it's
But
it's
he'd be
close enough.
flattered.
It's close enough, but you, I mean, you can't say who actually
I
donated it?
called him today, I was happy to say it if he'd let me, and he asked again that his name be anonymously given, which is what he asked at the time, and it's still the same.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions? This time I'd like to call for motion for adjournment. Oh, I'm sorry, we've got an executive session. Whoops, I apologize.
And that's a roll call.
At this point, I would like to ask for a motion to go to executive session to discuss the lease or purchase of real property for the use of the public body, including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired, and B, litigation when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or tribunal, administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which case the basis for the finding shall be recorded and entered into the minutes of the closed meetings. May I have such a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
On roll call, trustee Maher.
Yay.
Trustee Grady.
Yay.
Trustee Pennington.
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Yunker.
Yes.
Trustee Suggs.
Yes.
Motion carries. We'll be going to executive session. No report or